Well, with a man who's got a very similar hairstyle to me joining us now, but I need a bit of a haircut, Ryan Farquhar. You kind of don't. What's going on? Hello, welcome back to the Isle of Man. Sure, not the way you would have envisaged it when we talked this time last year, eh? Hello, Ryan.
How are you, Chris? How's things?
Right enough. We're getting on with it. I mean, you just telling me you were made your way away from where you live near a kind of like Cookstown sort of area up the north coast, and that was quite nice, I'm sure, to get out of that area bubble and go and do some nice family stuff, which I know you're always keen to do.
Yeah, we've got a caravan on the Juniper Hill site on the north coast. It's just off the Juniper Chicane on the Northwest 200 circuit. So because of the lockdown, any opportunity we can get now to get out, and especially when the weather's good, we take it with both hands. So we spent a long weekend up on the north coast, and it was amazing. Been fit to get back out and go for things you took for granted, going out for a meal and going out for a few drinks and that there. So hopefully it's the start of things to come, getting back to life as we knew it before the COVID-19.
Did you go for a lap around the Northwest 100 course? I bet you did.
No, I haven't actually. Well, anytime I'm up there, I never do a lap. When I join the circuit, I always join at the magic roundabout, and it's quicker going the opposite way around the circuit to the caravan park than going, Port Rouge. But I've just purchased a small rig. I never ever dreamt that I would have any interest or any notion of going out in a boat, but I was out with friends a few weeks ago and took a notion in it that I'd like to do it. So I've got a rib now. It's amazing. It's just it's so relaxing, being out in the water. It's just a different way of life, really.
Bit of fishing?
I haven't actually got a rod yet. I'll get myself a rod when I get a bit more experience, on the thing. But I will give the fishing a go as well.
Because you'd be quite close to Loch Ness, I suppose. One of the entrances to Loch Ness near where you are.
I just live. I'm about 300 yards from the Blackwater, and there's a jetty just right beside us. So I'd be less than 2 miles from Loch Ness. So at some stage, I'll try and get the rib onto the river and get out onto Loch Ness as well.
Okay.
So I'm looking at. I would love to actually go from here. I could go from here right to up to Port Rouge, on the boat, with a few locks would have to go through, but as something on the to-do list, I'd like to be able to do that, from pretty much from the back door.
So they have like a waterway like they have all over the UK, did they? Oh, brilliant.
Well, the River Blackwater flows into Loch Ness, and then you'd go up Loch Ness and join the River Bann at Toome. And just follow the River Bann pretty much right the whole way to Port Stewart.
You're not going to
Castle Rock.
That's all right. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. You haven't got yourself a little captain's hat, have you yet? No.
Aye, got the face burnt off me.
Grow the big beard. Go the big beard again, you'd be grand. Enough of the Ryan Farquhar boating show. Let's talk about motorbikes is what we're here for. We're all missing the TT. We're all missing all the racing. I know we've had a little bit of Scarborough. We've got our Moy coming up at the end of July. We're racing back here on the Isle of Man, albeit up at Gerby, the airfield, which you know reasonably well. And does it kind of give a little in your heart when you get to this sort of time of year when it should be here, it should be TT, you should have bikes going out in the circuit?
To be honest, because we've missed 2 years, you sort of you get out of the way of racing, really. Because you're trying to put in your time and do other things to fill that hole. You do get away from it. But I've been doing a little bit with there's a friend of mine, Johnny Towers, that sponsored me while I raced, and sponsored the TT as well with RST, the RST brand. But Johnny, he has done a few short circuit meetings in my bike, and I've done a little bit this year, track days and developing the bike, and with a few meetings coming up now in July. And as you say, Armoy, I'm doing that with Derek McGee. He's going to ride a bike of mine there. So it's slowly starting to get a little bit of momentum again. Hopefully we'll be in a situation where the TT will hopefully run in 2022, and hopefully there'll be a couple of KMR bikes stuck in there as well.
No Jeremy McWilliams at Armoy yet then for you, no?
No, it was just a last minute thing with Derek, and because he has had success at Armoy, he has had a few wins there on my bike in the past, and I've done a bit of development work, and I think Derek's he's the perfect guy to stick on the bike to see just how good the bike's performing now, because there's other manufacturers coming into the class, which is great to see. I'm hoping that I can have a Kawasaki running at the front, even though there's some new manufacturers coming in. So it's mega for the class that that I love super twin racing. Hopefully it'll keep going from strength to strength.
The 650, I mean, they've changed it a bit. Has it changed a lot over the years? Tell us tell us the evolution of the 650 from when you started building it, from being what it was to what you have made it, basically.
2009 was the year that I started my own team, my own KMR Kawasaki team, and there was talk that there was there was going to be a twin class, 650 twin. Nobody really heard much about them. And there's a fella called Mike Johnson. He was a manager, looked after pretty much the sponsorship at that time in Kawasaki UK. So I put a package, or between the two of us, would done a deal really, so I could run my own team. If it hadn't been for the help of Mike, I wouldn't have been able to put my team together. But I'd said to him about this new class, and he said the ER6 would be a really good bike. I had never heard of an ER6 in my life, so they sent me over a bike, and I think in 3 weeks to turn the bike from basically a road bike into a race bike. And then you couldn't get anything. That nobody had ever heard of them for sourcing race fairings, clip-ons, rear sets, just exhaust pipe. No matter what, I had to pretty much try to make and batch stuff up myself. When I first took it out, loads of people laughed at me. That's a waste of time. That's going nowhere. I knew that 2-strokes were dying, and I thought this could be the perfect class, to replace 250s. And we persevered with it, and just I've done my best to promote the class. The next thing, I got a call from Paul Phillips. He wanted to talk to me with about the possibility of possibly running the 650 twin race at the TT, and it just gathered momentum after that. The Northwest, they were interested, and pretty much every championship or every organisation in the world are running 650 twins now. So it's something that is it's a fairy tale, really.
Has the engine changed much over the years since you first got the first one?
The Kawasaki has changed very little, as a road bike. But there's been many development engines. There's loads of things that have worked, and there's things that haven't. But if you take a look at the lap times that SuperTwins are doing at the TT, they're lapping faster than what a lot of the factory 750s were back in the day. Yes, the circuit has changed a little bit, but it hasn't changed to the amount that they're like SuperTwins are lapping probably about 4 mile an hour, 3 to 4 mile an hour faster than what the 250 GP bikes were. So it's amazing, really, when you think it's a bike designed for going to get a newspaper on, and they're lapping the TT circuit, and they're reaching 123 mile an hour.
Still gives you great pleasure doing this motorbike stuff, doesn't it? Even after 25 years, 30 years doing it?
Well, the twin thing is because you have to do it as a DIY. tuning job. You do a lot of stuff yourself. You know, anybody that's building a super stock or, you know, a super sport bike, there's a lot of restrictions on what you're allowed to do. Pretty much anybody can build a stock bike, super bike even, because it's only a matter of lifting the phone. All the parts are widely available if you have the money to buy them. Whenever you're building a super twin, it's a little bit like a classic bike. You have to be able to, you know, to do quite a bit yourself, unless you just go and buy the likes of a patent, which pretty much comes ready to race. But it's the engineering side of it that I enjoy tweaking and trying to get more out of the bike.
Has ever been anything that you've done to it, think, oh, this is going to work perfectly, and it's just gone completely belly up, and then something you think you wish you'd done, and then you did it 6 months later or something like that, and said, oh, I wish I'd done that?
There's loads of things you know, you're working on a theory, and, you know, it's all going good, and you think, right, you know, if this cracked, I'm going to end up with a really good bike, and the whole thing goes to crap. And there's been other things where we've found a gain by a mistake, you know, and it's just, you know, like I've been doing this for over 10 years. Like, I'm not an engine tuner, I'm a racer, but, you know, it's something I do enjoy, that side of it, tweaking at engines, and, you know, just you're always learning. I don't think there's anybody that has been involved with tuning engines all their life. I think there's still, you know, they'll always find something, probably by mistake, or hearing something from somebody else has done. But, you know, it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Got to ask you about your bikes. Last couple of questions, really. Got to ask you about any bikes that you've kept that you're very proud of winning TTs on, or winning wherever on.
I have my 2005 MSS Super Sport bike.
It's all right. Leave the dog in it. It's love it. It's okay. Don't worry about that. Leave the dog in.
It's Frankie.
It's all right. We'll leave that in. We'll leave it in. Don't worry.
Sorry about that. I have my 2005 MSS Kawasaki, my ZX6, and I won the Northwest, the TT, and the Ulster Grand Prix, and as well as, you know, a few other races. That's a bike's pretty special to me. There's not very many people that, you know, has won the 3 internationals on the same year on one bike. The first bike that I built whenever I was putting my own team together was my KMR ZX10 Superstock bike, which is another bike that's very special to me. I've won a lot of races on it, and, you know, it had the absolute lap record at Scarborough on it, as well as quite a few Irish races. Almost beat Hutchie in 2010, you know, and that's the same bike. So, you know, there's quite a bit of history with you know, I'd never sell that. My little 450 mono,
beautiful,
basically a motocross bike. I still have got that, and my original super twin, you know, which is so a wee bit like Trigger's Brew. You know, there's been not many facelifts and things. The frame has stayed the same, pretty much the frame and swing arm, but everything else has been changed that many times. But it's laying in bits at the minute. You know, it's Derek McGee crashed the TT in 2019, so I'm in no hurry to put it back together, because, you know, when I build it back together, I'm bigging into my bar. It's one of those bikes that will never be sold. The
famous bar.
I wouldn't say famous, but
infamous.
Infamous. There's been a few good parties, and
got to ask you, the last question will be this, really. You've got to have one little abiding memory of your TT career, never mind the classic TT side of your TT career. Something just every time you think about it, you think, if I could have done this, if I could have done that. I know the sport is full of ifs, but there must be something there you just think said, either that was really hard to get first, to get a second. Just tell us about that.
There's over the years, but there's been not many. Always your first TT win is very special, and that was 2004 when Winston McAdoo's Production 600, and I had the pleasure of standing on the podium with Bruce and John. You know, it's one thing winning a TT, but beating, you know, riders like that there to win your first one, you know, it's pretty special. there's been disappointments. I was leading the Supersport race, the first Supersport race in 2005, and the radiator split, and the bike blew up. And we won the second one. It's all there's some days it works for you, and there's other days that it works against you. That race that I spoke about by Hutchie in 2010, and I lost 11 seconds in the pit stop, and I caught, got back into the lead and was pulling away again. I come in on 3 different sets of back markers in the last lap, and ended up as pipped by 1.2 seconds. But it's just I couldn't ride any harder than I was just a fraction off doing 130 mile an hour lap, the fastest ever lap. But it's just I do miss the TT, and it's one of the races where I would love to get the leathers on and go back out again for a spin. But whether it happens, I don't know, but we'll see how it goes.